my question for you is, is there any guy in your life that you gave the pussy up to that didn't deserve it, and why?
It's hot.
I said it right
Okay, so I'm sorry, Mom and Dad.
All right, so the question was, Madam,
Yes.
the question was, look at woman, so who have you given the pussy up to that didn't deserve it, and why?
Well, first of all,
Who?
Well, no, I'm gonna say who.
I don't want to go.
Not who.
Not who.
the innocent.
Not who.
Okay, yes.
Okay, I worded the one correct one first time. Is there somebody that you gave it up to that didn't deserve it, and why?
Yes, they didn't deserve it. However, I was in a vulnerable place. I had came out of a relationship where I was hurt and I was damaged by the relationship. So I was very vulnerable. So when he was flirting with me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna run with this. Like, he's flirting, I'm gonna flirt too. Like, there's clearly an attraction there. And I thought that he was indifferent. So I know him, clearly. So we were friends and I knew his lifestyle. I'm like, okay, we're friends, so I know you're not really gonna do me the way that you're doing other people. And that was me being young and stupid in the mind, like, okay, I'm your friend, you're not gonna do me that way. But yeah, I was in a vulnerable place and I ran with it, flirting, and I had a homegirl that was also like, girl, like you're single now, like just go. Just go. And I was like, I'm not you. We went on a date and had a great time.
We're gonna get into the support system from girls.
You know, and it
go on.
And one thing led to another, and we definitely slept together. And in the moment, was it great? Yeah, it was fine. But it was afterwards when I got home and I sat there, well, no, in the car on my way home, I thought about what I did. And I said, who did I just lay with? What did I just do? And what is that about to do to me in the next couple weeks? How am I about to process that? And so then all these things started to show up where I was like, oh, right, he doesn't treat women right. Oh, I forgot, he out here sleeping with other people. Oh, wow, I just found this out. Oh, I'm finding these things out. And deep down inside, I knew that he wasn't good for me. I knew that was someone who didn't deserve it. But I was just so caught up in my emotions that my emotions got the best of me. And that my needs were what I was wanting, and it wasn't like a want of someone necessarily.
So basically, during the moment, the sex is popping. Oh, okay. That's real. That's real.
It was fantastic. I'm not gonna lie about it.
Okay. She said fantastic. We don't use that.
Look, I'm honest about everything. It was great. Like,
fantastic.
why would I be there? Yeah, like, why would I be there?
Pat your back. I hope you watch it. Pat yourself on the back. All right, cool. Moving.
But I'm gonna say this. A lot of us do sleep with people that and don't deserve it, whether we do it in the beginning or we didn't.
I mean, I call it a fix. You're going through a temporary situation, or you just need a fix. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing personal to that person. Even that person was a victim of my fix, or you understand the circumstances of my fix. And I think like I said, you got to be upfront with it. And I guess it was further involved. It led to where you wanted to be. He picked up on that. He felt like, all right, cool. He may not know the circumstances how you felt at that time, but you needed something because you needed to block out whatever you was going through at that situation. I think we all been through it. I think people do it differently, different styles. Some people do, they would decide to, smoke some weed or act a fool and party, drink, belligerent, and just pass out drunk. Some people decide,
whoa, Bill Cosby.
Well, fuck you. I ain't Bill Cosby and nobody.
Here you go, Sparty.
But
says the whole
first of all, I said whatever. Anywho, what I'm saying is that I think it's perfectly normal because, like I said, it makes sense on your reaction because it's like you're getting back at that person mentally, but you actually trying to fulfill something inside you just for the temporary because how you feel in that moment.
I was trying to feel something out of her at that moment.
Oh.
But
Can we move on?
So now I'm gonna switch the question up for the male over here. Have you ever gotten pussy that you felt you didn't deserve?
That I felt that I didn't deserve.
Is
Is that even a question for a man?
That's okay.
We have standards.
That's
What do you mean?
I don't say. I'm gonna say no. Like you going? I'm gonna get it. No, you're not. I'm just saying though. It's
I flipped the question. I flipped it.
Think about it though.
I flipped it.
It's regret. We men have to regret fucks.
I've had sex with chicks. I'm like, I didn't do nothing. How'd you fucking?
Why did I do
I
that?
didn't even do anything.
I'm sorry.
It's like, and you don't put that shit on you. It's like, any pussy you get, yeah, I deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Of course. You know what I mean? This is me. You know what I'm saying? I don't know whatever anybody else thinks, but anything that I've got, yeah, I deserve it. It's not like, we're not women. You know what I'm saying? A woman, she can walk into wherever.
All right,
and,
we relating
you know what I'm saying?
We relating this to pussy.
I'm just,
Pussy.
Okay.
then I don't deserve?
Yes.
No.
See what I'm saying?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
So I asked that question because, like I said, I've been in situations to where I've walked into a spot, right? For instance, this one time, went to a little bar or whatever, and my boy was there with his homegirl. I get there, whatever, homegirl throwing it at me. I'm doing nothing. I'm chatting up my boy.
Why do you feel like you don't deserve it? You know what I'm
No, I say I don't deserve it because it's like, yo, you might have just been vulnerable or horny.
But at that point,
Hold on, what?
you were there to deserve the pussy. Like, yo, it is not like
I still feel like I don't. And I'm no, you know. Look.
What did you do?
deserve.
I knocked the dust off that pussy.
I knocked the dust off that pussy.
Whether you deserve it or not, you was gonna do it. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying the point is
What's
like that.
But what's the barometer as far as where you hit deserve? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that happen? You know what I'm saying? When do you feel like you deserve that shit?
I'm speaking from a deeper perspective where it's like, alright, I've never been fucking with. Alright, it's just like I've never been fucking with a chick, right? From a different perspective because I feel like sometimes, like you said, that was your choice to do that. But what if she was egging it on like, oh, no, you're not coming to my house this day. Go on, dude. Oh, I'm waiting out. But then she just caught a little moment where Jimmy came through and was like, oh, yo, Jimmy, come through.
Alright, so that's how players standards though.
Yeah, like he deserved it more than you. You know what I'm saying? Like in my perspective, like if you could, to me, I'm like, yo, if you could get that in an hour as opposed to like a week, month, 2 days, in that moment you deserved it. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm not trying to like put any type of onus on the man or the woman as far as how long they take to make that step. But if he got it, he got it. You know what I'm saying? And he deserves it in that moment.
And if she got it, she got it.
Yeah, exactly. Because she has agency also.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think the playing field is so crazy these days. You know, I think a lot of women is a lot bolder from in this era than it was back, in the early.
1,000%.
Like I said, I'm 39 years old. I'm put my age out. God damn it, I don't give a fuck. I look good. I don't look my age. But anyway, what I'm saying is that I did want to say that. What I'm saying is that I think confidence it steps in because a lot of people now know what they want. You know what I'm saying? It's determined. Like I'm gonna put out this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna put it out, and if it's for you, great. If it's not, it was nice talking to you. And I think people get caught off guard a little bit because it's so direct. I think people know how to receive the message and not be the messenger. You know what I'm saying? It would be a win-win situation. Now, I mean, I'm not trying to like shift the main question. At the end of the deserve, I think you're gonna make your choice. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do it all the way with that person or not, if it's deserved or not. I think anybody is deserved with anybody when both parties decide to do it. you both deserve it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I get that. I'm a true. Now,
and the thing is, but you put the work in, right?
Yeah, but
to get it right. But in her eyes, you did enough to deserve it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whether it was a lot for you,
but the
or
question,
a little bit
it's the main topic because we're feeling ourselves and we're feeling what we want to feel, and we need that nut. What I'm saying is this: if someone texts me knowing that she had a wild night, and she said, "Yo, I'm fucked up, but I want to fuck," and I'm like, "Are you sure?" Because
That's a fact.
No,
that's a fact.
No, let me finish when I say that. Let me finish. And again, you want to be responsible and respectful for that person. And if they already know that they religion, that's all they focus on, they want to come over, then let them come over. It's up to them how they're going to play it out after. If they just going to fall out and go to sleep, or this is just the chemistry, or you can't be turned on. I'm not going to be turned on you while I'm drunk. I'm not on your level. And you know what I'm saying? It's all sloppy. I'm not going to do anything.
That's a fact.
I'm going to have you go to sleep.
That's what I'm saying.
We're going to go to sleep.
So that just sounds like the same thing when the man invites the woman to go to the hotel room and says, whatever happens, happens.
I'm not
Who's saying that?
No, but what I'm saying is that's the assumption. Okay? And the assumption with the consent is, well, we two adults, we both know what we're doing, right? But we're not looking at the whole picture, right? That's what I was saying about being under the influence.
But that's someone that you randomly trying to hook up with, in my opinion. I think if someone's gonna call me that I know and
that means we have a.
You know what I mean? Someone's coming like, you know what? I haven't seen it. I wanna fuck.
So
I'm sorry. Finger up. The finger's up. She got something to say, y'all.
I'm so sorry. I'll just show you real simple. So just like, so hearing this makes me think about the bigger picture around like being responsible for yourself and being mindful of your mental state, your emotional state, and all of these things, because at the end of the day, it is your personal responsibility, depending on the choices that you make. So if you did make a mistake after the fact, like you were talking about when you're sitting in the car, you know, like, how is this going to impact me? See, to me, that's very healthy because you're actually thinking it through. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of people just take those emotions, boil them up, or shove them down somewhere, and then it's just like they're not dealing with it. They're not thinking about what happened. Because a lot of times after sex, there's consequences. If you're not, you know, especially if it's like a one-night stand or something like that, and you have every right to do that. Sometimes a fun night is a fun night, but you have to be mindful of that, and that's where the individual responsibility comes in. That's where your personal mental health comes in. This is why you have to take care of yourself and really like deal with yourself first. So when you're in these situations, you can mindfully either overcome them, or you know, like just really be mindful about, you know, be present of like what's happening, because like you're gonna make mistakes and all that stuff. But like I think it's like the healing process, or getting past it if it was in a way damaging to you. Hopefully not, but it happens a lot, you know. So I'm sorry, yeah. So that's like my thoughts on
But
that.
I feel like it's like a double standard sometimes because, you know, females are just more in tune with their emotions and society approaches it that way. Whereas with men, they don't approach it as men are so in tune with their emotions. They feel like they just do.
No, that's
And listen, I agree, right? Because I feel like a lot of men, even though you are sleeping with 20 women, you are exposing to me some of your, you know, dysfunction. Right? So my thing is like, are you just going to be forthcoming with that, being if you're in tune with it? But if you're not, you know, my thing is like, when we are having these types of connections, it's not just being in tune with you, but it's also being in tune with that other person, right? Because you could be attracting something to you, you know, some energy that is not for you, right? And because you are in need of this, but you wasn't in tune with that other person, you could be getting yourself involved in something and starting something that, you know, may not be beneficial to you.
But I think the circumstances is already in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? If that person know that we wasn't on the same place and the chemistry wasn't there, but we decided to do what we do, it's already, and another that it's a one-night stand.
But you can't control or determine how far or how deep someone's vulnerability is. Right? And you don't know. And my thing is, you know, if their vulnerability leads them to a destructive path, you know, do you want to be a part of that? And this is the thing that I'm saying, like, do men really consciously think about these things?
How do you ever really know? How do you ever really know how vulnerable somebody is?
Like, you know your
are we shooting the women so much bail? This has been such one-sided. She said how, oh, she might be successful and he a bum ass nigga. She said how, oh well, y'all gotta consider the female's feeling. Now she's speaking. Why are we shooting the women so much bail? There are women out there that operate, act, and exchange fluids just like men. So we have to keep the balance, men. We got to keep the balance on, hey, listen, men are vulnerable too.
Right,
We
but you got to identify how men show their vulnerability.
There you go.
Because their vulnerability
This
is not going to be the
is what I'm
same as a
posing to y'all.
woman.
This is what I'm posing to y'all. Make sure that we keep that balance. As men,
And you said
keep
it
that
very
balance.
key,
Keep
and that was
balance.
my point.
Yeah.
Men are not in tune sometimes.
And I
with
said
that
that's not-
because
That's on y'all. Now, talk on it. Speak on it.
But that's the perception,
Speak
right?
on
That
it.
doesn't
Speak on it.
necessarily have to be what it is, but that's the perception of females, right? Because if we have a one night stand or whatever, it's likely that that female will think more about that than the male, right? And he
That's not what it's true.
That's not what it is. That's not what it is. I'm gonna speak on a person.
Speak on it.
Yes.
Get it.
Alright, so like with me, personally, how do I say this? I never really had an official one night stand. What I mean by official one night stand is if I meet somebody and I fuck that night, I don't talk to them again. I've never really done that because it was popping. I've been nigga be like, so what you doing next week? And she's like, I'm coming over here. And we got a rapport now. But I think that's also, after a while, when we have that rapport, I think it builds up to where it's like, so how do we even get to this place? This space in our life or whatever the case may be. But that's after a while. Now, granted, out the gate, it's like, I'm really about to fuck. Cool, I'm gonna just handle this and see where it goes after that or whatever. I'm not saying, I haven't really been in a perspective where I'm like, I'll fuck this girl, I'm never gonna talk to her again. I know guys that do that, but me personally, I've never done that. It's hard for me to do that because that fucks with my psyche when I'm trying to, I gotta bring my A game because I want her to remember this after the fact or whatever the case may be. But that's just me. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else.
Right, but you are saying, yeah, I want to smash again. You're not saying I want to go and have a full-fledged commitment.
No.
No, right. So this is what I'm saying, right? And you're not in tune if that girl is vulnerable.
Okay. Now, my rebuttal to that is some of my best situation, whatever you want to call it, has been from first-time smashes. We hang out. That first time I smash, years after, we still cool. We still fucking around. We date. We build something. And I think that's because we just kind of, I've said it before, we got it out the way. Oh, we know we got sexual chemistry. Let me see what's else going in. You seem cool, because for us to even get to that bedroom, I was chatting up with you, trying to fill out your personality or whatever. You seem cool. We ended up here. So now I'm like, okay, so she's straightforward about it. And she seemed like, okay, this is what I want right now. We're going to do that. So I like an honest woman. I like somebody that's gonna put it out there. So now I'm curious what else is going on in your mind. Now, if you fuck me off with something like, oh, you look good today, I'll be like, nah, I'm good. And I'm gonna keep it moving, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I understand everybody, you talk about, the girl has to be mindful, we have to think about that, that's cool. I just don't want a rape charge. I'm just gonna keep it all in my just don't want a rape charge.
I think there's a distinguish between one night stand and aspiration date. You know what I'm saying? I think people, like as Devon was explaining how, he don't do one night stands because he actually liked to continue the fun that they had and see if we could build to something they both could understand each other on the same page. Now, that could be an aspiration date. That could be like, all right, you know what I'm saying? We had a great 3-month run. Mm-hmm. It kind of fizzled out. Yeah. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Yeah. One night stands specifically is, look, we're both in a state of mind of being what we want, when we want, how we want it, and maybe we're not going to see each other again. If so, we have that memory. If it possibly, we'll do it again. Mm-hmm. Now, as you were saying earlier about, the state of mind of someone's mental or subconsciously of like how the guy's supposed to not know that or supposed to know that because of the state of the person, the woman is supposed to ask. I think, again, as a man responsibility, like I said, is responsible when they decide to enter that door. And if a woman decides to say, look, I want this, even though she may not be right to say in mind, is he have to go through the checklist. And I'm just speaking from a man. there's a man that has been raised by a single parent, have nothing but women in his family, and very respectful. And it's important to me to make sure that once it's all said and done, if we decide to do it that, and we wake up and it's all good and you still feel good from your decision, then we both had a great night. Now, if you're feeling guilt or some type of regret, you know what I'm saying, I have to retract my steps of what I did for you to feel the way you felt. I may not understand it because you probably was in that state of mind at that point because you just wanted that and you had something to prove or you were just trying to get over something.
That's got to be communicated, though.
I get that, but I mean at that moment I won't know that.
You're not gonna know.
That's what I'm saying.
But I mean my reaction is,
See, a whole nother topic is sexual responsibility.
oh no.
Right? But going back.
Girl, you need a YouTube show.
I'm topics right? But back to what I'm saying is that, you know, my thing is that we don't really control whether it's just a one night stand or, you know, we are checking for that person afterwards. And I feel like, you know, when I'm talking about the whole sexual responsibility, it's like, you know, I feel like a lot of people don't treat their bodies like a temple, right? Male and female, right? Because I think we exploit ourselves a whole lot.
Why is that though?
Well, a lot of it is what we were exposed to, right? A lot of it we're human, we're curious. You know what I'm saying? Like male have a lot of, sexual nature and vibe. That's just natural. You know what I mean? So I think part of it is just learning how to be more in tune with your own individual needs, right? And taking the time to connect to somebody that does. Because my question to you, Divine, was, did any of those relationships work out after you had that sex with them?
Actually, they did, and I think we I can't even say that we fizzled out. It was just more of they wanted something more, and I wasn't there. But now, can I still, hey, what's up, how you doing? Yes, we still can communicate. So the relationships, they did still go on. Now, I had one situation where the girl, we fizzled out, but she would randomly hit me up. It was like 3 years later, hey, what's going on? I was just talking about, you know what I mean, some sex we had, so I wanted to see what's up. All right, come through. Because we were just there or whatever. But with me, like I said, I built that rapport and I got to know them on a different level. So it's like, because I go front. I'm the type of nigga that after sex, I'll lay up and have a whole deep conversation with you and it get real. You know what I'm saying? So it gets to that point to where we draw a little closer. And granted, she might want something more and I'm not there, then they go their way and I go mine. But it's still love.
That's right. He said still love.
Feel me?
But it's still a dysfunction because he went in there and he wasn't even ready. But I mean, how
Why is it that it's the male's responsibility to make sure she's make sure that she's sexually competent, make sure that she is mentally
because we already started.
Why is it the male's responsibility? Because a lot of your defense mechanisms is, but were you ready? But did you explain that? Sometimes it's not the male's responsibility to make sure that you're not vulnerable, to make sure that you're mentally, emotionally in check to have sex tonight. The onus should never always fall on one party. Right. The same way he said that man has to walk through that door, that female has to open that door.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But do you see that? It's a two-way street.
Absolutely.
Right? So my thing is, right, we can't sit back and say, well, who should take the lead, right? Because it's been distorted for years right now.
Yes.
The gender roles.
Yes.
Right?
Precisely.
So how I was raised, I'm looking at the male to be the leader, the provider. That's what I've seen, right? So part of that is, some of it was distorted. I think I talked about the control part of it, but the other part of it was, taking the lead on the household, laying the foundation on how the family structure is supposed to go. Those roles have severely been turned and distorted right now. So a lot of times, right, we are put in these situations and we're not really in tune with what's really going on, right? So I'm, this female going in and I have these feelings and I want something, right? But I'm connecting with somebody who has the potential but may not be, right? So how do we meet somewhere in the middle? part of this is somebody's got to take the lead on something, right? So it's not just, yes, a male shouldn't feel 100% good about taking advantage of someone's vulnerability if they're not ready to offer and give it all.
I don't think it's taking advantage of someone's vulnerability. I'll be honest with you, it's actually helping that person fulfill some type of void at that time because they need it.
How? And how do you know that? Because we fill voids many different ways. That doesn't mean that it's, productive for us. It could be self-destructive too.
Okay,
right?
that's your
risk that you're taking, though.
That's your responsibility.
But think about that, right? And this is where I say the disconnect is that men are not in tune with that. See, back in the day, the man was the one that was choosing the female. And they would stick with that one female. Now, this male got 20 different choices.
No, that's not true.
No, yo, I think
Pimps and hoes, the whole
back in the day, they had
They knew how to treat that house.
No.
They did, but inherently, they did.
They know how to treat that house.
But I think inherently, I think like you're right when you talk about how dynamics have changed and like how gender role responsibilities have changed. But I think what you're speaking to and what you're saying is like, yo, the expectation is for the man to lead the situation, right? Like even if you've got women that have the opportunity to make money and do these things and work and change the way the dynamics of a family household is, inherently, and they won't always say it, you know what I'm saying? They want you to lead. They want you, they take direction from you. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta do it in a finesse way. You know what I mean? At least that's my experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still look to you for that. So when she's talking about situations like, okay.
But I mean, that's you just described the heart and soul of the foundation. That's why we call grandmoms. You know what I mean? Big mama or grandmother was the heart and soul of the foundation because she was the leader, she was the director, she was the facilitator. She made sure, and she knew her role, how to make sure that her man or grandpa was able to navigate. She was able to provide the services and the love and the comfort and the confidence among her children.
Yeah.
And now they built that foundation that her children had children, and she was able to still put that same foundation, that blueprint for them. Unfortunately, that error it doesn't exist.
It does though.
It does because
It does
because like you said, back in the day they looked for the guy to lead. Yes, that's true. But at the end of the day, who made the real decisions? It was the wife.
They still look for the man to lead, yo.
But it was collective, right? So if there's no relationship with the two, then it's okay.
But it's also like, hey, baby,
at the end of the day, it's just sex.
But that's true. But it's like, hey, baby, what you want for dinner?
Who cares, bro?
I know. I'm feeling it too.
Just sex.
If you just knew.
The thing is, right? Because like back to the conversation we was talking about before about like just fucking with somebody based off their looks and stuff. Like the aftermath. You know what I'm saying? Like what makes you stop? Because you know the aftermath when you're just dealing with somebody and you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And their level is rising and you just chilling and you just like, hey, you know what I mean?
But that goes back, not to cut you off, but that goes back to something that Unc said earlier when he was like, I've turned down pussy before. Like, cause I know what it's gonna be after the fact.
Yeah.
And I've done it. Like, oh, I don't want to do it. I know she gonna get crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, and sometimes you can see girls that's like throwing it at you or whatever. You're like, nah, she like me because she likes me like me. And if I do this, I know it's gonna turn.
You're talking about
I'm not paying.
and you're a responsible adult.
She is not a believer. She is not a believer.
No, it's true.
You are not a believer.
I'm just saying, he may not have did the act, but I'm just saying the thought might have been just real in depth after that. Like, really, should I? Maybe I could, but I'm just saying.
Like, initially, depending on who the woman was, I had been like, nah, this can't work. You know what I'm saying?
Truth, get y'all
There's a lot of variables. There's a lot of variables that
Your shoulders you might not.
Listen, I'm just saying it's all good, right? But I've just learned in this life to just be more in tune, you know, and to communicate a hell of a lot more. And I've learned some of the barriers to me communicating was I didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. You know, I didn't want to make someone feel a certain way, but I had to learn, like at 38, like at the end of the day, if I'm not honest about where I'm at, what I want, where I'm going, you know, there could be a whole lot that come along with that right now I don't want to deal with. You know, and now once I learned that I'm in control of that, you know, I'm directed a little bit differently, you know, and I just look for men sometimes, right? And I had to learn how to lower my expectations because, you know, I look for the men to do a lot of that leading, you know, and when they don't, I get super disappointed, you know. So what I've learned how to do is just be more in tune so that, you know, one, I'm not getting caught up, right? And I'm not allowing the man, you know, to get me caught up, you know, and that if I have to take the lead, I'm okay with doing that.
Okay, but do you communicate that?
That's what I was just about to say.
You communicate that you're going to take the lead, and not only that, because if you take the lead, no, let me finish. What I'm saying is, most men, if you decide to grab something from a man and he's not realizing, even though he may not step up or he's not stepping up to your standards, and you take the lead, that's a problem. If it's not communicated that way. Because now you're taking some type of, like, you know, that's an ego problem to a certain extent. Not saying that he got, and also pride, absolutely. But I mean, if a man feel like he's doing this thing and it's not to your standards, he may not know that because you may express it, or you may have low patience and you decide to take the lead because you are very dominant in who you are, your personality. And then by you taking over, that's going to be a conflict of interest because he's feeling some type of way. So when do that take place? Saying, all right.
Well, you highlighted a lot of my relationship conflicts today. Because, you know, I can be honest, I'm not very trusting of men. Take the lead. You know, and I'm very used to doing a lot of this on my own, you know, and being good with it. You know, and if you come along, I'm good. We you know, this is added to this. You're not needed to keep this flowing. You know, and, you know, I'm working on it. You know, it's a work in progress, you know, because, you know, I work with a lot of men, and I feel, and I've said this before about men not having a lot of mentors that give them the blueprint on how to be, you know, dominant more in the households and take the lead, you know, without looking like you're controlling, you know, a woman and stuff like that. The finesse part of it, you know, and I understand that, you know, about society today, so I'm like real in tuned and aware of it, you know, and I feel like the balance for me has been kind of set up some boundaries, right? Don't just go and sleep with, you know, like you may need to figure it out and take some time to figure you out, you know, while you are dating, you know, because having that sex brings an emotional connection whether you want it or not. And this is why you can't just have sex with that girl and not have that thought. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, don't act like, you know what I mean, that's not going to happen. You know, so it's now, you know, you have to be a little bit more cautious with that. You know, because you know where you can go with it. And also, too, you got to play out some scenarios of what it would do. Just like you said, how you turned down that pussy. I turned down that pussy because I played that scenario out, how that's going to go. Did you play that scenario out as well? Well, if I sleep with this girl this one time, you know, where will that lead me?
That scenario is not going to be played out every time.
Probably not.
No,
that's
not
going to
Every time you're thinking like, damn.
That's not every time. No, you're not gonna do that every time. But there's certain chicks where you know, like,
where it's
nah,
clear.
if I can give her grade D dick and she's gonna be on it.
Yes.
Like, you just know. That's my cameraman.
That's right, from the sidelines.
You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But no, that's real. You give her black dick and you know she's still gonna be on it. It's just like you just know that. So at the end of the day, it's not gonna be every situation. It's not gonna be every situation, but you're gonna make the decision on what's the word? It's situational, basically. Like,
let me ask you this, and this is kind of unique. Do anybody, and this is the answer for anybody, knowing the situation, if you decide to sleep with someone, and like I said, even if it's like a one night stand, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna say it. Do you put your 100% effort of your best work with that person? Because, like, do you half-ass sex with different people?
I want to hear from women first.
Absolutely.
Well, first off, I'm only sleeping with one person because, you know, my whole day is over. I don't do
You say your whole day is over?
I think everybody had a whole moment.
Well, let's go back to the
everybody
whole
has
day.
had a whole moment. Right?
Zoom.
The whole moment doesn't mean like sleeping with a lot of people, but it may have been sleeping with people without no attachment. Right? And that's what I mean by a whole moment.
Okay. Alright, so that's the same distinction with one night stand.
So let's go back to that then. Get back to that mindset.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
go ahead.
So now,
No.
what he asked was, oh wait,
You were so
Camera guy. You are hiding one job.
The question was, as I will repeat it again, have anybody gave they all to a person knowing that they, to anybody that knowing that they didn't want no real attachment? Like, what I'm saying? Like, it's all about the treatment. Like, I know I want to press the shit out of this girl, so I'm going to give her my A, triple A star, 5 class, 5-star, whatever the case may be.
And I want to start the round.
Sexual moment.
Yes.
As he said from the sideline.
Well, you'll probably be the only one to know if it's an A+ woman or not.
No, that's not true.
That's not.
If someone,
I was sweating.
Let me say this. Listen. If someone was dying to be in your space and you gave him the time of the day and you gave him enough love to even get to that point and you didn't still give me your all, he's not going to know the difference. He's not.
Because it's his first time.
It's his first time.
It's his first time. He don't know who you are. He don't know how you give it up. So
This is what I'm saying. Same way.
No, but I mean, it's a lot of build-up anticipation of like, all right, I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna give it.
How is it built up if it's someone?
No, because it's all about it's not saying. No, I'm not saying it's the one I said. I'm not mentioning the one I said.
I know, but
What I'm saying is anyway, if I'm never doing the one I stand, I'm gonna make you want to remember me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
That's just what it
Like
is.
the post-game report, the interview.
This is my point.
Oh,
So, but the fact that you would put 100 in the one I stand as opposed
I put 100% in everything I do because I'm not who I
But
am.
my thing is how would that person know and distinguish how you?
But you know, not that person. I'm talking about anybody that you dealt with, and you know what I'm saying, you put 100%. It's your performance, your evaluation to yourself. That person have no idea of what you put in. You can fake it till you make it. That I'm saying all about your standards and your performance. So what I'm saying is that, all right, I'm tired of this. Maybe like an old boyfriend that you just know. I'm tired of this nigga, baby. I'm just giving him some pussy. You know what I mean? He's, and you get in the business, but it wasn't your effort. It wasn't your 100%, your full grown. So what I'm saying is, have you been in those scenarios, even if you met someone or you dealing with someone, even based on the circumstances, did you give me 100%? That's what I'm saying. Have you half-assed moments when it comes to sex?
No, if it's a half-ass moment, it's a half-ass moment.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like, when it's a half-ass
Good.
I got a better question. Have you ever gave sympathy pussy?
Oh, shit.
Me personally, no. Because it's like if I have to give you sympathy, because it's like this is.
That is a thing, by the way.
I'm like, I know.
I guess and it's a true story. And speaking of grandmothers, I was in a relationship, and I got the phone call. She was at that point. We knew it was even any day now. I got the call in the middle of the night, and I hear my mom's in the answering machine. Hey, Grandma, my mother version, man. Grandma. I'm like, I jumped out of my sleep. I said, damn. And I was in a relationship. I woke my girl up. I said, look, I gotta go. My girl, it happened. And she said, do you want to let it out? I said, what you mean? I'm not in a crying mood. No, do you need to let it out? She said, hey now. Hey now. And I did. I let it out. And she was like, yo, I get it. Like, and we fucked. And I mean, it wasn't like a long time fuck, but I gave it some damn heavy duty. My grandmother died sex. And she was like, now go ahead.
Sensitive, yo.
So, I mean, shit, I think, in a relationship, you deserve it. But if something like, yo, damn, girl, my day's bad, grandma died. Can I get some?
I be like, what you thinking about sex with your grandma?
You a hater. Here's a hater. You know, death certificate. Like, then you see that death certificate, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I mean, if you approach it that way, what you said, it seems better that way. But like, yeah, like in my mind, I'm like, well, your grandmother just died.
What?
So you better not offer me no time.
But he also understood where he also person where it's like we knew it was about that. It was just any day now.
It was any day now.
So it's like it happened.
There was a lot of build up, anxiety, emotions we going through. It's like, you know, I know you've been going through the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Do you
that was the first time.
But that was still,
that was
she was in tune. But you know,
yeah, she like, you know,
she knew what you like.
Exactly.
Yes, he was
I ain't like no day when somebody died.
Yeah, they trying to come out with a car.
Facts.
Like, a car.
Facts, my
Facts,
G.
Instead of opening the car, can I open the
Get you some flowers.
They were different. It's okay.
Hell, they don't need your flower, right?
But I think though too, you know, that opened up something else for me to think about. It's like, you know, vulnerability like opens up different doors, you know, so like everybody's at different moments in their life, so you know, you just never know. So it's like, no, it's not our responsibility for the other person, but it's kind of like, you know, you kind of want to know and feel the vibe because you want it to be genuine, right? And not contingent upon something happening or, you know, something that we just wanted to do right for the moment, you know? Like, everything I think has a consequence, you know? Every action has a consequence. We
But
open those doors.
I don't think it need to be. If you're thinking about it, it's supposed to be. Like, you know, it's supposed. I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but sometimes it doesn't need to be.
Right, but you don't control that. That's my point.
But you
You know what I mean? Like, you only can control what you can contribute, but you don't control other things and how it comes at you. So it's like you have to approach it in a way where you're 100% grounded, you know, and open and aware of other people's stuff. Like, this is how we be missing the mark in relationships a lot of times, because you're here and this person's there and we don't even know how, and sometimes we don't get to communicate. So how do you be more in tune if you're not talking?
Right.
You gotta know, you gotta see. All right, you
You
know.
don't want to. That takes effort.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, that's part of a relationship of actually having hard work. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to do the
Depends.
groundwork.
Right.
Depends. Right. It depends. People don't want to do the groundwork.
Right.
People, you know, people will spoil you by the good times, and they want that to last. But if you try to build something that's going to last a lifetime, there's going to be hard times, and if we can't deal with that together, then there's going to be issues. There's always going to be problems. There's going to be bumping heads.
That is the brick of a lot of our relationships.
Absolutely.
I tell them, no, I didn't leave you. You left the relationship. When adversity hit, right, I knew what to do when adversity hit, but the other person didn't, right? And then when I tried to bring them on board and support them and help them, guide them, they refused it. So it's like, well, damn, you know what I mean? Where do you go now? You know, and that was a disappointment in itself, you know, and that really put a taste in my mouth, because now it made me, you know, put the stakes up a little higher when it comes to meeting people. Like, I don't care about the good times. We got that all day. The minute something bad happens, I want to see how you respond, how you react. You know, how you gonna deal with it? How you gonna deal with your own adversity? You know, are you gonna take that out on me? You know, are you gonna shut down? You know, like, so.
But that's we call that trial and error.
You do, and that's why I think it takes time. And this is why, you know.
So people have short attention spans at the end of the day.
Today,
That shit is effort, yo. You gotta find somebody that's worth the effort. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody's worth the fucking effort. You know what I mean? Like, when you find somebody that's worth the effort, because there's gonna be shit all the time. It is what it is. Like, there's no, like, people say, oh, soulmate, all that bullshit. No, you ain't finding your soulmate. I promise you. You're not. There's gonna be shit.
Fact.
That's
There's gonna be shit, yo. You're gonna find shit, but like, one of the key things is having a person that is gonna work hard for you. You're gonna work hard for them, and like, they see that you're worth the effort. You see that they're worth the effort. Y'all gonna fucking fight for this shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucking important. And that's hard to find with just two people coming out of whatever life they live. Like, I'm lucky. I've been with my wife for a long time. We've had growing pains and shit, but I know she got my back and I got hers. You know what I'm saying? And we don't have like a lot of single life. You know what I mean? That would influence us in the way we're thinking. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like all my cousins, my brother, like that shit seems hard, yo. Like I swear that shit seems hard. Like, but you know, I'm not saying that marriage isn't hard because it is. You know what I mean? Like it's work, but like I said, you gotta find somebody that's worth the fucking effort, yo. Because you're not gonna want to put that effort if you don't think they're not worth it. You just gonna be like, there's 1,000 yous, there's only one of me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how did you determine that one?
I had way too much to drink. These bottles keep flying, these hoes keep trying to link. But my cup overflowing, I'm trying not to think about you. So I take one to the head. Roll me up somebody, click up, pass it to my brethren.